Listen, I got some dates for you as it relates to the W-2s and their arrival so you can be on standby and ready to file your taxes properly. And I'm going to front load this video with value because I know most people's attention spans are short and they can't watch more than a 4-minute video. They just come to get what they came for and they dip out. So I want to make sure that I put money in your pocket within the first 4 minutes. Now, before I even dive in deep into the article, the release dates based on the IRS dates is February 2nd. So if that's what you came for, February 2nd is the deadline that they want people to have the W-2s in the hands of people. Now, let's move forward. As it relates to you filing your taxes, be careful not to be such in a rush to file your taxes based on the pressure that may be being applied by your tax professional. A lot of times they say, hey, you give us the W-2 or just download your last paycheck from your job and we can start filing your taxes. That couldn't be further from the best way to do it. Reason being, you got to understand that it's a lot of money you leave on the table when you don't take a step back and think about what you did in 2025 or go to your records to prove what you did in 2025 and how a lot of what you did the previous year can be tax deductible for this year. See, it's not some fancy trick that your tax professional is going to be able to do in order to ramp up your tax refund legally. However, if you look back at what you did in 2025 and how it ties into your tax filing, that can position you to ramp up your tax refund legally just by you understanding what you did. So what do I mean? Well, in 2025, a lot of people had the ability to do something that could position them to get more tax deductions. A lot of people were operating in the gig economy. Gig economy makes you pretty much a sole proprietor, some type of independent contractor. Well, being an independent contractor also comes with tax deductions. Why is that important? Because even if Uber paid you money, Uber Eats paid you money, Lyft paid you money, or Spark, or roadie, whatever it is that you might have did that was in the gig economy, they paid you money, but you also drove your vehicle, which equals miles. And miles equal tax deductions. And for every mile that you drive, then you can write off over 50%, over 50 cents per mile. I believe it got up as high as like 69 cents. Don't quote me on that. I have to double check. But just know that for every mile you drove, so every 2 miles, that's over $1 tax deduction. So for example, if you drove 10,000 miles last year, and many people drive much more than that, but say you drove 10,000 miles, that can be over a $5,000 tax deduction. I want to say it's closer to $7,000 in the form of a tax deduction. But if you don't know that, then you won't claim that, and you think your tax preparer did you a favor, when in all actuality, you could have legally did what you needed to do to show the records of the miles that you drove. And we're just talking about miles. We haven't even got into the meals that you may have spent money on, the travel that you may have done, the cell phone bill, the internet bill. All of those things position you for tax deductions and put a lump sum of tax deductions in your pockets, which help to fatten your refund. That's very important. On the flip side of that, social media came in and started paying people. And they was doing that before 2025. But this is what you got to understand. A lot of people took it more serious last year from a content creation standpoint because they wanted more streams of revenue, more streams of income. And if they see, hold on, I could be posting and making more money. Okay, what if I post more often? What if I post more strategically? What if I do videos, text, audio, whatever it is that they were trying to figure out? This turned you into a content creator. A content creator is an entrepreneur. It's a home-based business, and this positions you to get business deductions. There are over 400 business deductions that you can qualify for as a self-employed home-based business. Why is that important? Well, if you look at all of your expenses, how many of those things can you connect to the business that you may have been doing, the content you may have been creating? Even those who like to take pictures or videos of their food now positions you to make that an activity that's in pursuit of a profit. So I really want y'all to catch that, because a lot of times people don't realize that it's the money that you spent the previous year that can position you to get a larger refund, not some tricks that your tax professional may do. Now, true tax professional will actually ask you the qualifying questions to see, okay, what all did you do last year? Did you do this? Did you do that? Okay, did you get, did you spend money here? Did you spend money there? Okay, can you show me some of your receipts? Can you show me some of your transaction? Okay, we can extract that, put that here, and make sure it lines up according to whatever your field is. So a person who does content creation, their tax deductions are going to be different than somebody who did Uber or Uber Eats. Or if they did both, then it's a win-win scenario, and you'll just have two different categories for those tax deductions, not double dipping, but just doing it in a strategic way. So understanding that is what puts money back into your pocket. I hope you got some value from that, because I promise you, if you understand that and you get with the right tax pro, then that can position you to get more of your money back. We're not in the business of overpaying in taxes. A lot of people say you shouldn't pay taxes at all anyway. Hey, for those who are paying taxes, you need to figure out a strategic way to pay less taxes legally, ethically, and morally, and do it in a way that uses the tax code to your advantage. And home-based business tax deductions is one of the best vehicles to get that done. That being said, let's keep going. So when do the W-2s arrive? I told you February 2nd, and the big W-2 release date. Here's the delivery scoop and what the Trump tax changes might mean for your taxes. So I want to get into this, but I wanted to front load you with what is really important with putting more money back into your pocket. And I just want to give you an overview of some of the things that you need to be aware of. So for millions of Americans, the start of the year brings one urgent question: when will I get my W-2? While the legal mailing deadline for employers is typically January 31st, that date falls on a Saturday in 2026. Consequently, the official IRS deadline for W-2 access has shifted to Monday, February the 2nd, 2026. Beyond the calendar, the 2026 tax filing landscape has transformed. The IRS is entering the season with 26% reduction in staff, causing uncertainty about taxpayer support and whether tax refunds will be delayed. So people are on the edge on certain things, but you know how it goes. Everything is going digital, so things can come faster in the form of a refund as well. And if you need access to some tax experts that can help you get things done the right way, it should be a link down below so you can tap into it. And if you want to go over or want me to go over more tax deductions that you can likely qualify for, I'd be happy to do that in some future videos as well, because a lot of people leave a lot of money on the table. I was a tax professional for years and just chose not to do it for different reasons, but I saw a lot of people leaving a lot of money on the table, but I asked them the right questions to help them put more money back into their pockets. And I want you to be able to do the same in your situation, but understand the right way to do it. So it goes on to say that the IRS W-2 arrival date for the 2026 is February 2nd. Your IRS Form W-4 is an essential tax document for return filing, capturing every dollar earned and every cent of federal, state, local tax withheld from your paychecks throughout the year. So whatever you got taken away in the form of federal taxes, portions of that can come back. And depending on your situation, you may qualify for earned income credit, child tax credit, and things of that nature. Plus with the tax deductions that I told you about on the front end, that can also lower your tax liability and put you in the area of qualifying for those additional credits. See, sometimes people think they make too much money, but you just didn't have enough tax deductions. And maybe you did have enough tax deductions. You just didn't have the knowledge partner with it to make sure that you were able to do it the right way. So the W-4 release date and arrival depends largely on your delivery preference, digital access or postal mail. However, the following schedule provides an estimate for when your W-4 or W-2 may be ready for the 2026 tax season. So here's some dates. Grab your screenshots. And basically it says if you're getting a digital W-2, they may be available from January 12th to the 16th. So some of you may have already got that. So you can begin checking your employee portal to see what's in there. January 19th is a federal holiday, so no mail delivery on this day. If you opted for a physical copy of your W-2, it won't arrive until at least the 20th. So January 26th, tax season 2026 opening date. This is when the IRS will start accepting federal returns in the last week of January. So I said what I said on the beginning because a lot of tax professionals are like, come on, we can start filing now. Let's go ahead, because they're trying to make sure they have a whole lot of people ready to be submitted on the 26th so they can fatten their pockets. Nothing against that. Not hating on them or none of that. But I want to look out for the person who's listening to this video and understand, listen, you may have a ton of tax deductions that can position you to get more. Because many people, when they're filing their taxes, they're trying to get a larger refund. And they're not trying to do it in a way that's going to get them in trouble. So I know the information that I'm saying is from the heart. And I know that from the heart reached the heart. So hopefully your heart is receptive to what it is that I just said. And then January 31st, W-2 mailing deadline. This is the legal postmark deadline for employers to physically mail your W-2. if you opted for that method of delivery. Then February 2nd, official IRS deadline for W-2, because January 31st falls on a weekend. February 2nd is the official final day for your employer to provide access to your 2026 W-2. And then the 14th is troubleshooting day. So if you still don't have your W-2 by mid-February, the IRS typically recommends you begin following up with your employer. So I gave all of that on the front end for those of you who might have had a short attention span. But for those of you who listened close and fell into the category of somebody who might have additional tax deductions, and all I talked about was gig work and content creation. You might have had a side business selling e-commerce. You might have had network marketing. You might have been selling insurance. You might have been doing things that you didn't realize was a tax deductible activity because it was in pursuit of a profit, in pursuit of making money. Drop what you do down below, just in case it's something that you may be questioning. And of course, I know you can research it yourself and see, but many people don't know. And what they don't know, they don't benefit from, because what you don't know may not hurt you, but it definitely can cost you. Mr. Smith signing out. Click the available link below if you need access to some tax experts. Salute.